Hi everyone. I am on Twitter Live and I have to see if it's going to have a replay or not. So, if you're watching. It's a lot of people for only having 50 followers. And a hell of a lot of silence. Please tell me this works. There we go. What's up? I don't know if this is going to work. I have this tiny little phone and the block button is practically covered up. There we go. I can make that work. Welcome on, Candy Striper. How are you? Hi, Sarah. Blue Lemons. Hi, Tammy. Melissa. Hockey. Kaylee. Happy Haunt. Bianca. Oh, my sideways. Yeah, it might be the phone. I'm good. Learned a hell of a lot from a lot of Twitter psychos. But I have grown to appreciate the human beings in the room and the subhuman beings in the room. Learning to learn from everyone is what I've done. I have made some choices in my life to survive that I never thought I would have to. And anybody sitting back judging that, I mean, that's on you. But there's no way I could be sitting here alive right now. But I am. And things are even better than they've ever been. How's my day going? Twitter makes me nervous. It's okay. Even just hopping on here, it's like being a different person. I can like already looking at myself and feeling the vibe and the energy. I'm like, "Argh." It's a risky move, but I have to filter this crap out of me. I have to get the rest of the way there in my life. John says he's here to party. Welcome on, City. Be real. Have I been well? Yes, I've been well. Yes, I've been well. My day's good. No one special. I'm glad you're feeling and doing well. Thank you. Stop, don't stop. Hello, Sideways Jimmy. Hiya. Why am I sideways? I don't like you. Yo, I'm allowed to not like people. You know, like that's allowed. I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to feel that way. What have I been up to? Working. A lot of work. Getting our life together. Kate and I are getting our life together and keeping all the weirdos out. And it's pretty healthy. It's pretty healthy. Making mature decisions, saying, you know, since there are psychos out there who like they can't respect privacy, then I guess that's just how it goes. I guess there's going to be some guidelines. I woke up to what I'm capable of in a good way. I woke up and saw, wait, well, look at the size of this body in the mirror and look at the size of this brain in my head. I have them both. And I'm sitting here complaining and whining and letting everybody else run my life for no good reason. Absolutely no good reason. And I might be proud and people don't have to like me. But I'm more interested in living my life than being popular. And that's me. Yeah, it's good. So I'm learning to take my focus off of the negative people. There's a lot of negative people out there, you know, and even going to work and working my job, I have a very, very positive attitude, and I bring that positive attitude to work. And I have to fight for that positivity because maybe you guys get it, maybe you don't, but I'll go to work and I'm like super positive. And people fight so hard for that negative, and I never thought that's how it would be, especially during the pandemic. I thought people would be fighting for positivity. Nope. It's like people are pissed off that I'm happy or I'm in a good mood. And I'm like, am I on Periscope? What's going on here? Am I on social media right now? Because it's like people are that way in real life now. And it's kind of spooky. Cool, you're working. Yeah, it's good. It's normal and it's good. I'm not going to do it forever, but I'm going to do it right now while I get myself back on track and, rebuild an income. And I'm going to build up a passive income on the side, just something to generate enough to keep us on our feet. That way I can put my focus back into social media. And not just social media, though. I'm going to distribute my energy in different income streams. I'm going to work on my life as a whole instead of this, one-track mentality that I've been on for so long. Cool turtleneck. Thank you. I like it. It keeps me warm. I like this thing. I never thought I'd be a turtleneck guy. I never was a turtleneck guy, but I have learned to appreciate the comforts of life. Slowly but surely. What work am I doing? I am doing work that you're not going to hear about because I don't like you. No, it's negative working for Hilton Corp. Guests are very negative right now. Yeah, with everything going on, it becomes a lot harder. I'll say it the way that one of my customers the other day said it, is our country has been very spoiled. We as a people have been very, very spoiled. And now with everything going on, it's kind of like getting a spanking and saying, hey, remember, life is real and you have to work to enjoy it. And I don't think a lot of people understood that. Now, what I've been through the past couple of years, they say God has your enemy be your footstool. Well, the hell that I've been through over the past couple of years, for me personally, makes the pandemic and everything else going on, it's like child's play. It's like doesn't even affect me that much. Now, the way that it's affecting other people, that bothers me, and I care a lot. But on a psycho-emotional level, I'm not that affected because I've had much worse things done to me over the past couple of years in a very acute way than what's going on in society right now. It's like practically a breeze for Caitlin and I. We're able to just go to work, and it's like, this is like heaven. Like other people are going through hell, and for us, it's like heaven for what we went through. And then before Kate, what I went through. So, bringing that positivity to work is my way of trying to say, hey, instead of seeking out revenge or any of the negativity, let's flip this and bring that positive attitude that I have from the suffering that I went through and take it to work with me and try to increase the days of the people around me. And that's what I'm working on. That's a good plan. It works. Yeah, people that try to pull others down always get their karma back. Yeah, it's just, that's how it goes. And you can try to tell people all you want. It's not until they're really alone in a room with themselves and they can look at themselves and say, do I like who I am? Do I like how I'm treating people? Can I live with myself? Some people will push themselves so far down that road until they lose it. And I don't even mean the way I lost it. Like me, that was self-defense. But I've had people in my life who have treated me so poorly, but they came to the point where they said, they're just like, you know what, I'm wrong. Okay. And to me, they expected me to have like this big gloating session because that's what they think of me. And I didn't. I don't have a gloating session. I said, so we're over it now? Like, that's it? Can we move on? And then things move on. And that's good. And, that's only happening one by one. And there's a lot. But just take it. Because I've learned from the best is just receiving that punishment, receiving that attack, and trying to just recycle that into positive customer service energy, as they say. It works. It works. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, the camera's sideways. I'm also learning to make sure to keep psychopaths out of my broadcast. That can be a very difficult task. All right, so I'm not a scoper. I'm a professional, and all the lazy psychopaths that are not me are going to find out very soon. So for me, with where I'm at in my life, is I'm taking things nice and slow now. I'm taking things nice and slow. I'm rebuilding my life, gaining that capital, and I'm just going to move on up. And I'm cutting everybody else out of the equation other than the people I love, the people who have an apology for me. We're going to move on together. And everybody else is going to be left watching and you know, crapping on the show, and that's going to be it. Lots of people. I'm not too worried about. Wait, do you mean like lots of people in the broadcast, or that's a lot of people? Which are you referring to? Who are you? I'm Jimmy. What's your name? Hi, my friend. Hello, new person. How are you? Sarah says, hi, I got cracks on my screen, so you got to work with me. In the broadcast, yeah. Yeah. I'm Deanna. Nice to meet you, Deanna. No, I have a crap phone. Crap phone with cracks. And it works for me right now. So, money in the bank. I'll take it. I used to love my $1,000 phone, and then I got a little wiser on my priorities. So now I'm kicking ass with a $100 phone. I don't take it. Turtleneck and Minute Maid equals Juice Wayne. You're funny. All right. If you have any mental decency or health, I would not recommend leaving the broadcast for others to talk about me. There are a lot of really toxic people out there who I've given control. I gave them control of my life for years. Now I'm not anymore. I mean, these people are completely nuts. So I keep my focus now, and I recommend you do the same for your own health. I'm 25. 25. I don't think a lot of people realize when they do that kind of stuff that it's unhealthy for them. Give the kid a chance. Thanks. I was also at work the other day, and there was a little piece of paper that was left on one of the counters. What's for dinner tonight? Just ramen. I've been getting ramen in bulk and cooking it all up and then mixing in vegetables. So it's kind of like a cup of ramen, but it's much less expensive. So I'm doing a lot of ramen. What do I do for work? I work. I'm not talking about my work. So I also have Telenym. It's an app where you can send me anonymous questions. There's a lot of people right now who are afraid of me. Guys, let me teach you a little something, okay? So if you're not someone who has been driven crazy before, maybe most of us have been, but if you've never been driven nuts before, like, your need to survive does come before anything else, but it's only in a legitimate survival scenario that kind of attitude is appropriate. And even then, it's questionable. So I was in a position in my life where I was so psychologically attacked and controlled that I had to defend myself. And now sitting here sane and healthy, like, that's forgivable, and that's something to move on from. But for the most part, when you have other people that are using that like a tool or a weapon, that's the kind of stuff you want to veer away from. And you want to veer towards, well, what's the most responsible thing I can do in this moment, right? And that can be hard to decide. And especially with all the negativity going on in society, it makes it much more tempting to just give up that self-control and give up the discipline. But it's just not worth it. I say it because I care about you. Like I said, I've also learned that I can't stop other people from running off of cliffs. And that's hard for me because I watch a lot of people just run themselves off of cliffs. And I know it's not in this broadcast, but there's people else, you know, on the internet and in real life that they destroy their own life, and it sucks. And we can't give them that focus, but at the same time, love is love, you know, and what can you do is just try to keep bringing that positive energy. Sodium for ramen. Thank you. People change as they get older. God knows I did. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. For me, like, my change has been much more awareness than anything else. I haven't changed much as a person at all my entire life, but I have really been cut off from access of information and education, and like cut out of everything like my whole life, and less as days go forward as I fight to get that little leg up at a time and put my time in. I'm learning a lot more. But people have in the past loved to keep me out of the loop, and now I am the loop. So it's given me a lot of privileges to get access to information I didn't before. Now my next move could be, because it's kind of like they give you that red pill, and then it's, do you want to turn around and beat your attackers? And I say, you know what? No, I don't. I got big plans for my life. And I know that if I take the time to beat the bad guys from my past, which I know I could, like snap of a finger, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because they're not bad guys. Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? To me, that's in my life, in reference to the way my life has been treated, that's perception. And my perception is people have made mistakes in my life, and I'm going to move forward and focus on my goals, because I don't have enough time to take care of them and my goals. And my goals are way more important to me. Do it with canned oysters, jalapeno, cilantro, chili, and lime. Cool. Sideways. Very good. Very good. 100 on the test. What was on the piece of paper you found? Thank you, Sarah, for the refocus. When you're talking to so many people at once, it's so easy to get off track. It said something about self-harm, and it was very negative. So I took it to my HR manager. But when you see people in the chat saying negative things, it's the same idea. Now, I'm nobody's PR manager, I'm nobody's HR manager, right? And I'm not, like, it's not my situation to handle. That's what I've learned about Twitter and the internet, is that, we should take care of one another, and at the same time, we got to make sure to take care of ourselves first. And I mean, what do you do with live stream when that happens? I don't think live stream is to a point where we can be responsible with that just yet. I'm not good enough of a public speaker to really tell you how that's supposed to go, right? So I wouldn't look to me for that. I wouldn't know what to do. That's why I take it to my HR manager. It's not my place. It's the protein, and it's good. All right. Psychopaths unwelcome. You've been consistently, steadily you. Yeah. And the less I allow others to dictate and influence my decisions, the more obvious it becomes that I am stable and healthy, as I make sure to keep others on the outside of my personal environment and personal life. And I try to build friendships with people who legitimately want that, right? But what I have found is, whether it's over my genes or my ability to operate, like all of that, is I became a beacon of attention, and that became this thing that everyone hoarded in on and saw, like, how do we grab him? How do we make him ours? How do we use him for our purposes? And I fell victim to that by, in the middle of winter and I wouldn't call it homeless, but out in my car. The only period of homelessness I would say I had was from the time that I was in PA till I got here. That was pretty much, I would call that homelessness. That I have never felt lost in my entire life, and it was only during that period that I felt lost. Where I knew that I won, but I felt defeated. I felt, I was forced into a position by psychopaths that I had to choose between starting my family with Kate, which even, had gone back and forth, between that and, having the people from my past who, have now lost their minds for the most part, and there's not much I could do about it. So, I just take it day by day. It's really all I can do. I love the people I love. And you see it in the movies, and you hear about the stories where as you grow, that people feel to a degree less relatable to you. But I mean, to me, I feel like I become much more relatable. The people that I become less relatable to are people who don't have a lot of relatability factors. People who have a lot of self-denial. So if you have someone who's living in the slums and they'll tell you, hey, a time or two, somebody tried to jump me on the street, I had to fight back, or this or that. But then you take somebody in my position, and where I come from is people who had it very cushy. They were very spoiled. And I was very spoiled to a degree. And I found out what it's really like to have to figure out how to survive. And so now that disconnect is there, and mix that with my upbringing, or mix that with, what I come from, and it's like, oh, It's easy answers for lazy people. And I don't succumb to that. I don't subscribe to that. I know my personality. I know who I am. I know what I come from. And I know that I come from some awesome stock that made some terrible choices in their later life. And I'm still in my early life, and I'm doubling down on making the mature choices now. And I've made some poor choices, but I have, real quick, I flipped that real quick, and I say, whoa, this isn't good for me. I'm making poor choices. I don't like who I'm becoming. And I mean, quite honestly, as I sit here, I don't know how there are people out there that live with themselves like that. I really don't. I know that every moment I have something in my heart that's unhealthy, or something that breaks who I want to be, it tears me to shreds. And I have to fix it, in that moment, as quick as I can. I have to face it. Because I remember what it's like. I remember what it was like being a kid and having that lightheartedness. And I don't ever want to lose that. I don't want to lose it. But that's just me. Welcome on, Jim John. So do you think the paper was from a customer or an employee? Oh, I don't know. I'm also not liking these vibes. I'm just getting some weird vibes. Good, you're both well. Glad you're working. Make that money. Winter's coming. Yo, I'm so pumped. I am so pumped. It's not even going to be winter. Okay. I'm just getting rid of the middle-aged psychopaths. I got beaten and put in the hospital by 6 people for no reason when I was 19. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you trudged on and found a way through. I really do. And I might even sound like a jerk, right? Because I have people at work too, and I'll have customers that are they'll tell me their story, and I'll vibe with them and be there. But I'm also not oh, I feel sorry for you, and I'm so sorry. And that's not a lack of empathy. I have plenty of empathy for their situation. But from my experience, the way for me to move on from my past and continue to push forward is to stay focused and positive. So when someone tells me their story, I vibe with them, I connect, and then I don't give it extra energy. And sometimes people feel insulted by that. And I'm I'm not a sociopath. You're whatever you're going through that. And we're not best friends. I don't know what you're going through, but if you want me to keep listening, I'll listen. But I've kind of been through worse. And that's, so I'm not, but I've also moved on from what I've been through. So I don't get crazy emotional over it anymore. I have that pent up, stuff, but I don't brood on it. I let it sit, and I'm one day I'm going to get my retribution, whether God commits that retribution or I have, the legal ability to take care of business. But, I think when I get to the point, and I said this to Kate, when I get to the point in my life where I have the financial ability to seek legal retribution for the ways I've been wronged by the platforms, whether it's the platforms or the people, I don't really care. Now that's just me, because by the time I'm in a position to fix that problem, more than likely the problem will be fixed. And things will be policed and this and that in a positive way, probably not over the top. But, that's that piece of it, is that by the time I get to a financial position to do that, I'm going to be living my own life. I'm not going to be so interested in that by that point. I know that I'm already going to be moved on and happy and focused on me. I'm not going to be, and not just me, but I'm going to be focused on the people in my environment that care about me, I care about them, and building those relationships is the main agenda. And the only way to do that is in good faith with continued efforts towards trust. Hi, Life Chaser. For sure. Man, I'm 34. I lived. That's good. Well, you're not done yet, I hope. I hope you're not done yet. 34. Oh. One of my managers is in his 30s. And, you know, I'm starting to see how old people think they are around my age. Or even in your 50s. Like, people, like, when you say, hey, I'm in my 50s, and so now I have the answers and you don't, I'm just like, you're only halfway dead. Like, you have half of your life left. If you're already convinced and satisfied that you have the answers enough that you're not seeking out more, to me, that says you're done. You know, like, you're done with life. And that's not somebody I want to be around. So, like, I'll entertain those kind of people, but I'm not going to spend my time around people that are in their 50s and just done with life and are convinced they have more answers than I do. As weird as it is, and it's spooky weird, is at my job, I really do have more experience and wisdom than even people twice my age, 3 times my age that are coming through the line. And the proof is in the pudding, in the conversation. The fruit of the labor proves it, is I'm coming out on top as the bigger man with each of those conversations in a positive way. Like, we're ending the conversation in a very good way where both are more educated. I'm more educated, they're more educated. But I'm educating people, you know, twice and 3 times my age, if they're open to it, which most people are, because of the work that I put in that conversation. So for me, that builds a lot of self-confidence to not, you know, let extra voices find their way into my head. Remembering that, and I hope you guys realize this, even sometimes adults think they're adults and they're like adult babies. You know, they're like children in adults' bodies. And they may not even realize it because our country has spoiled them so much. As in, I survived getting jumped. Well, I see that here. I hope so. I hope you're not a bot. I'm glad you're surviving. And someone who will stand up and tell you you're just wrong is also not someone you want in your environment. It's just not. Like, unless, like, if someone's putting wrong and then like, hey, here's some advice, right? But those people who straight up just shut you down and they don't offer you anything on top of that, that's a taker. I'm trying to help you guys learn how to communicate better and be able to pick out people who belong in your life and who don't. You got a taker. If you have someone who's just a straight pessimist and they bring nothing to your life except some sort of egotistical value or a negative narcissistic connotation, which isn't what I have. This is confidence. Based on experience, it's confidence. Is you want someone who's going to lift you up. So if you don't feel I'm lifting you up, that's on you to speak out. To speak out on, right? Is if I'm not motivating you and you want me to motivate you, that has to be known. So like for me, this is like a conversational vent type situation. There's not necessarily a directive right now. This is, I'm bored at home on my day off of work and I'm hanging out. So if there's something you want from me and you're not getting it, I can't really know that, you know, and it's kind of psychopathic to believe that I can just know what you want at random. When I'm not doing the metrics, I'm not, you know, my social media right now is, I have it on the sideline a little bit and we're kind of just hanging out. So those expectations may have been a little appropriate back then, but right now I'm not putting too much into this. So if there's something you want from me, it's going to have to be a two-way conversation, not just a one-way. To me, the most difficult thing for people watching this is going to be understanding that I've changed, but in the way where I've gained my self-awareness. So I'm a better version of myself, and I won't be hitting that unblock button. And I know that people care a lot more about that than they want to admit, so I guess here we are. Personality is huge, worth watching. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I don't necessarily want to hear the positive or the negative, you know? So thank you for the compliment. But even that kind of stuff, I kind of push it off. I was watching a video of Mark Zuckerberg from his younger years and how he sort of had difficulty communicating. And so he would, if somebody gave him a compliment, he would just be quiet. I'm trying to keep my mouth open because for me, I don't really want the compliments. I don't. You know, with the level of social pressure that I've had on me over the past couple of years, which I can tell hasn't changed, it only continues to increase, is I don't necessarily trust when people give me compliments or insults. I have to feel them out for a long time usually. You know, it took Kate and I 2 years to get to a position where we're comfortable with one another. And that was worth it. That was absolutely worth it. I'm going to make sure to put the work in so that my life isn't near as lonely as people have tried to make it for me. I'm just making sure to put my focus into diversifying my income so that all that energy isn't put in one place and I'm not getting attacked on that level, right? As I grow my success, I want to have those pillars in my life. So when I have those pillars in my life, if somebody knocks one down, there's still 6 or 7 others holding the house up, and I can go and rebuild that. Whereas I've been, you know, this one peg building, and I would build it up to 3 levels and it would get knocked out, and I'd build it up to 4 levels and get knocked out. And so I know how to build a skyscraper at this point, you know, up here. What I'm learning is to build the foundation properly and build the foundation on solid land. That's probably the biggest learning process I'm going through right now. I'm looking for mentorship on that, but now knowing what my capabilities are, I'm very nervous about being taken advantage of again. So I have to be very careful. Very careful. Refreshed. I'm good. Welcome on. What would you like from your viewers? From the ground up, I've been taught to seek to understand as opposed to seek to be understood. I seek to be understood because I want to understand. And people do get mixed up in that. I want people to understand me because it makes it easier for me to understand them. But my main agenda is to understand you. But there's a lot of people out there who say, well, I don't want you to understand me. Like, you want to understand me then? So we're in the same boat then. You know, and then people will tell me that they're confused. I'm like, well, I know I'm not confused. I know you're not confused. I smell a little narcissistic sociopathy in the air. You know, I smell a little ugliness in the air. And I let that aroma, that stench of unflushed toilet into my life. And now I'm flushing the toilet and I'm leaving the bathroom and spraying some potpourri because I learned from some dudes that it's okay to have potpourri in the bathroom even as a dude, right? It doesn't really matter. You can pick and choose from your environment and choose who you want to be. And that's very easy when you're living a life online and you're cultured and you understand those things. But there's a lot of society still in America. I mean, Trump is our president, right? So there's a lot of people out there who still don't even use the internet much. And people don't know that, right? And I didn't know that. I got so immersed in this that I forgot there are people out there that don't even have smartphones. Isn't that mind-blowing? There are people in American society that don't have a smartphone. And they're not 80 years old. So we all live different lives, and that's okay. But we're going to have to remember that as the people who know a lot more about this stuff, then if we want other people to be engaged, then we have to seek to understand and really learn how to get along if we want to make a difference. We can riot all we want. We can fight all we want. But a real solution is going to come through finding a way to get along. So I hope you guys want to get along because I do. I do. For many reasons. Many, many reasons. Understood. Please love life. How are you? Nice to see you, says Churchy. How are you? See, and then I make myself tangible, and then people want to attack that and test me instead of get to know me. And it doesn't help your cause. It just doesn't help your cause. Hi, Bubba. How are you? 43, I've been using the internet since 95. Cool. You probably know a hell of a lot more than I do. And that's somewhere else, as I wonder, how much do I need to know? How much do I want to know? Because I used to think the internet was everything. And I think